got symptoms of COVID-19, just stay back home and go into quarantine. Just wash your face, no hugs, handshake, that all it takes. Oh, quarantine, oh, be safe from corona.
Good afternoon, welcome to my channel. My name is Howard Wilson. This is a brand new channel. This channel features a lot of activities in different areas. We'll probably be doing a little music, education, in the areas of PEP and CSEC. But the main feature of this channel is chess. Right, you heard it right, it's chess. Now, chess is so essential. We want everybody to start playing chess, right? So this is a little introduction video, but before going further, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video so others can benefit. Alright, so as I said before, my name is Howard Wilson. I am one of the VPs of the Jamaica Chess Federation, and I am the VP in charge of Middlesex. Now I oversee Manchester, Clarendon, St. Anne, St. Mary, and St. Catherine. I have a team of vibrant persons spreading chess in schools and communities in a different association. Just to name a few: Kevin Campbell, Michael Solomon, Troy Leachman, just to name a few. So if your child is not playing chess or your children not playing chess, then enroll your child into a chess club or the chess club at school. Now, this video I'll be doing a brief video for beginners, right? For those of you who already know how to play chess, this video will benefit you. Those of you who don't know how to play chess, like I said before, you need to get started. Well, I don't have a board with me today, so I'll be just giving some introduction tips to those who can play chess already. But you might want to know, what are the benefits of chess? Chess is a mind sport. It stimulates the brain in different areas, better memory, increase your attention span, your level of concentration, right? It fight against Alzheimer's disease and a whole heap of stuff, right? Usually persons who are students who play chess usually excel academically, right? So you want to get your kids out playing chess, okay? Now, believe it or not, in the near future, chess will become one of the top sports in Jamaica, right? It will be right up there with track and field and football. And also in the Caribbean, Jamaica will be on top, right? Not just the English-speaking Caribbean, but the entire Caribbean. So let's go into this short introduction. All right. Well, I always encourage my students to start off with E4. Right? For those of you who know how to play, you know what I'm talking about when I said E4. Because if you look on your chessboard is an alphanumeric system where we have files from A to H, and we have ranks from the first rank all the way to the 8th rank. Alright? So we use where the letters and the numbers intersect to give you the name, just like our name. My name is Howard Wilson. Alright, so that's the same thing, right? So E square have a first and a last name. For example, E4. So E will be the first name, so to speak, and 4 will be the last name. So it's always the letters before the numbers. Now, I realize that a lot of beginners, why it's very important for me to do this video, a lot of beginners always play things like H4 to get out the rook early along the flanks, or sometimes A4, A5, playing the pawn up the board to get out the rooks early, and the rooks then come across. No, that's the incorrect way of doing it, right? You have to control the center. The activities must be centered in the middle of the board. All right. Now, I always tell my students to play e4 in starting off. Of course, there's nothing at all wrong with d4. It's totally fine, right? But as a beginner starting off chess, I recommend e4, right? So e4 is occupying one of the central squares. And what are the central squares? Let me tell you. e4, e5, d4, and d5. Those are the four central squares, and those squares are very, very essential, right? Most sports that you can think of, once you control the center of the park, for example football, once you control the midfield, you have a good chance of winning the game. Same thing with chess. Once you control the center of the game, you have an excellent chance of winning the game, unless of course you can blunder. Alright, so you can control the center with your pieces and with your pawns, or with your pawns first, then your pieces. Now, putting a pawn in the center of the board, e4, what it does is, e4, you're occupying one of those center squares that I mentioned. Also, in doing so, you're attacking one of the other center square. If you can pause the video and guess, it's actually d5. So when you play e4, as you know, you can play two squares on your first move, two spaces on your first move for each of the pawn from their starting square. Once you play e4, then you'll be doing two things at once: occupying one of the center squares and attacking another, right? Because you know pawn attack one square diagonally, right? So already you are doing something with two of the center squares by just one move. Alright, so your second move, well, let me give you some rules while I'm going through. Alright, so we said control the center, rule number one. Rule number two, this is not so much a hard and fast rule, but for beginners, we encourage it, right? When you gain momentum and know how to play well, then you can deviate from this rule. But knights out before bishop is actually critical for beginners. Reason being is because knight can leap over a piece, right? So you don't need to even play e4 or d4 for the knight to move, right? For the bishop to move, however, you have to play e4 or d4 or e3 or d3 to get out your bishops, right? But we suggest e4, which is better, alright? So you don't really know what your opponent is going to play. You don't know where your opponent is going to play his or her pieces. So you want to kind of look and see what's happening. Once you play e4, the bishop is already active. Alright, it's a matter of moving it from its original square, but it's already active because it's a long range piece. Alright, so that's why we encourage you to play knight out first. As a matter of fact, my very first move, I play this sometimes, my very first move sometimes is knight to f3 on my very first move without even moving a pawn. Right? Now, knight's out before bishop, so you want to probably play knight f3 next. There's absolutely nothing wrong with knight c3. Right? But what we want to do in this instance is develop the king side first. So let me tell you about that. The board is virtually split in two halves. Sorry about the external noise. The board is essentially split in two halves. We have the king side and we have the queen side of the board. So from A to D, that will be the queen side of the board, because the queen will sit on D1 if you're playing white, and D8, sorry, if you're playing black. Alright, the king will sit on E1 if you're playing white, and on E8 if you're playing black. So from A to D, queen side of the board. From E to H, that's the king side of the board. So I encourage playing knight f3, and it always depends on what your opponent playing too. But I don't see your opponent is going to play anything so devastating that you cannot play knight f3 for your second move. Alright, so knight f3 is a good move to play. So most likely your opponent not going to threaten anything, but if your opponent threatening anything, then you need to take care of that. Your third move, providing that nothing's under attack, is knight c3. So you get out your two knights. Alright. Now another rule states do not move the piece twice in the opening unless it's absolutely necessary. Now there are some weak squares in starting off with, some squares that are only protected by the king, and those squares are f2 and the f7 square. Now most beginners usually like to play bishop to c4 and then moving the knight a second time, the f3 knight a second time, to kind of attack providing that you're playing white, to kind of attack the pawn, the weak pawn on f7. Now, if you're playing against a weak opponent, a beginner, that trick might work, but that's not how we teach kids how to play chess. We teach kids how to play chess properly. So do not move the piece twice in the opening unless it's absolutely necessary. Your piece being under attack or something like that, then you would, of course, you're not going to leave the piece, without proper protection. All right. So another rule we say, do not take out the queen too early. If you take out the queen too early, you'll be wasting moving the queen all around the board while your opponent is developing, because your opponent will attack the queen. And of course, we're fighting to protect our king, but our queen is also very important because the queen is very powerful. So losing the queen early is almost like losing the game, right? So your opponent have to blunder in a major way for you to come back in that game. So we do not take out our queen too early. So development is critical. So after we get out the two knights, then we get out our bishop. So we play, for example, a bishop c4 first, getting ready to castle, right? We always say clear your king side first so that you can castle early. Bear that in mind. So once you play bishop c4, even before you get out your other bishop, unless there's something there that you need to attend to, or unless your bishop capturing something for free, then you're going to just go straight ahead and castle. Alright, so once you castle, you're ready to take out your other bishop. Alright, so the option is there based on what your opponent playing. You can know where to put that bishop, whether you're going to put the bishop at f4 or g5, pinning the knight. The option is there based on what your opponent play. So once you get out your two knights, your two bishops, then it's time to get out your queen, connect your rooks, and put your rook towards the center. Alright, so I could go more in depth in terms of development, but those are some of the key things. There are other little rules in the opening, but those are some of the main ones that you need to take into consideration. Develop. Do not go out and fight without developing your pieces, right? Connecting your rooks and take control of the center. Okay, that's it for today, and do not feel free to like, share, and subscribe this video, so we can you can know whenever I release something else. God bless. Stay safe. Remember to wash your hands, sanitize, stay indoors. Don't go outside. If you don't have to go outside, please don't go outside. We want you to stay healthy so we can have a nation of thinkers playing chess and making Jamaica a powerhouse in chess.
Then I say when you've got symptoms of COVID-19, just stay back home and go in a quarantine. Just wash your face, no hugs, handshakes, that's all it